If you're getting ghosted by recruiters, it's your fault. You know who doesn't get ghosted? People that recruiters think are the perfect fit for a job. If you're getting ghosted, that's because they don't think you are a good fit. Here's what you can do to get past the screeners and to the people who make the real decisions on who gets hired. Stick with me. Hi, friend. If you haven't been here before, my name is Jason Roberts. I'm a recruiter. I've been a recruiter for 25 years. And it's my job to help you know all the tips and tricks, all this inside secrets that I've learned over a long career of hiring people that might help you to get your next job. Before we get started on the things that you can do to get past the gatekeepers and get to the real decision makers, I'd like to ask you to do all the YouTube things. Like this, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you can see content like this whenever it's available. If you are getting ghosted, the first thing that probably has happened is you didn't pitch your resume very well. Boy, I'm so sick of people being like, oh God, the world is against me and I did all the right things and these companies just don't want to help me. You're right. Nobody's out to help you out. Nobody's your buddy in this thing. They're out to solve a problem. Their problem is they need somebody that can do a freaking job. And if you can't tell them in a really short amount of time, if you're the right person to do the job, then you're out of luck, man. They're not doing charity work. So yeah, you're out of luck. That's just how it is. So what you've got to do, start out with an undeniable resume. You get a resume that says it's a perfect fit for this job. Now, there's a bit of a myth out there that the very first person to read your resume is a recruiter. That's changed. It's outdated information. The very first person to read your resume is actually not a human being at all. The first person to read your resume is an applicant tracking system. You see, these systems get all the resumes in from all the people who have applied. And you can see when you apply on LinkedIn, when you apply on Indeed, you can see right there how many people are applying. And it's hundreds of people. If you apply for a remote job, instantaneously, hundreds of people have applied for that job, right? So those are all of your competitors. And the first thing that happens is your resume goes into this big system and it gets sorted based on relevance. The most relevant job goes straight to the top. The first thing you have to do is write a resume that doesn't confuse the technology, doesn't confuse that system. How do you do that? I'm going to give you a template right here that will help you out. It's going to show up right up here above me. And what that template is going to do is going to simplify your resume and tell you exactly what goes where so the systems can read it a little more cleanly and you'll get boosted up in the relevancy. Part of that is also the verbiage that you use. Customize your verbiage in your resume, not what you did. What you did is what you did. Like your job, your history, your background, that doesn't change. But the way that you talk about it, the words that you use to describe it, it does. So if you're in technology, there's a lot of people in technology looking for jobs right now. If you're in technology and you are saying, I'm a software engineer, and on the job posting, it says, I need a computer programmer. Those are the same things. Roughly, close enough. Those are synonymous. And you should change your software engineer to computer programmer because guess what? Some of the systems are just not very smart. They have semantic search, but they're not very good a lot of times. And you don't want to trust that that semantic search is going to do a good job of picking up your resume. So you've got to customize your verbiage to align. There's a really easy way to do that. ChatGPT will do it for you. I've written a prompt already to help you with that. If you want that prompt, you can click right here and I will send you my prompts. I have a bunch of prompts in there and those are free as well. All right. So all that said, the first thing is getting past the ATS. Second thing, you've got to get past a recruiter. So how do you get your resume past a recruiter? The way that you do that is that you give them exactly what you want to say right up front. I don't believe in objective statements, but I do believe in executive summaries at the top of your resume. So the very top section of that resume should say, in a very succinct way, here's what I'm good at. You give them an executive summary at the very top, and then you give them quick bullet points, fast bullet points with action words at the front and measurements along the way. Those quick action points allows them to skim through. Now, remember how recruiters are reading these resumes. They're not reading thoroughly for a minute or two. Oh, well, they should have seen my information and known. I get so many comments. It's so ridiculous. I get so many comments of, well, if they had read my resume, they would have seen, well, guess what? It's your job to write a resume in a succinct way that's easy for them to read, that's really fast for them to skim. And if you're not playing the game, then you're going to lose. This is the way the game is played right now. That's how recruiters are reading resumes. So write your resume for the reality of the situation, which is you need to get past that recruiter. I'm so sick of people telling me the way things ought to be instead of just adapting to the way that things are. Adapt, for God's sake. This is how it needs to be. So succinct resumes, bullets, beginning with action words, and having a measurement tied to what you've accomplished in that job. Now, at the very bottom, there's a really important thing. At the very bottom, you can add a skills section, and I would add a skills section with everything that you think that you want to pump in and make sure that you show up in the search results for as well. So that's what you do on the resume side. Now, the second thing that happens is when people get ghosted, they will oftentimes get ghosted in the interview process. Now, there's a way to solve ghosting in the interview process. In the interview process, every interview that you have along the way should build momentum so that the next interview is ready. So the momentum that you build is based on information that you gather in each interview. Here's how this goes. Very first interview is with a recruiter. The recruiter is asking you questions. You're following up and asking additional questions. The questions that you're asking are, what's the next step in this process? Who should I speak with next? When should I hear from you? And then finally, how can I contact you if I haven't heard back at that point? And you're getting a commitment for follow-up, and you're getting a way for you to communicate back if they don't follow up. You are able to take control at that point. You're given a date, you put that in your calendar, you put the phone number in your calendar for where to call them, and then you do your follow-up on that recruiter when they don't get back to you on time. Because let's face it, a lot of times they don't. Guess what? If you have their contact information, they can't ghost you. They can choose not to respond, but they're going to hear from you one way or another. And at some point, if you're persistent enough, you'll hear back. Now, like I said before, if they think you're a good fit for this job, they won't ghost you. They may be slow in responding, which kind of sucks, but you won't be fully ghosted. So you can follow up until you hear back. And the longer it takes for you to hear back, the less likely you're going to get that job. Just is what it is. So you're building momentum. What you're doing along the way is you're also saying, okay, who should I talk to next? What do they care about? What are they interested in? And you're building momentum. You're getting information that will feed the next interview so that you can customize that interview to be the perfect interview for the job. All right. So who doesn't get ghosted? People who are a good fit for the job. If you're getting ghosted, nobody thinks you're a good fit for that job. So the last thing that I'll tell you is you applied for the wrong freaking job. If you apply for a job where you're not a fit, nobody's going to call you for that job. And you're wasting their time, you're wasting your time. And the bigger deal is you're wasting your time. It takes 200 applications. That's bull. It does not take 200 applications. The only reason it takes 200 applications is because people keep applying for jobs where they're not qualified. If you're qualified, make it look like you're qualified. All right. Hopefully this is helpful to you. I want you to find a job. It's the whole reason I do this, is so that you can find a job. But something is happening or you wouldn't have clicked on this. If you're getting ghosted, it's your fault, but you can fix that. See you next time.